I think it's a great vote of confidence for Afghanistan and the region. It will support Afghanistan's efforts to increase the standard of living of the people, hence lead to peace and security. And also China being a neighbor and a major investor in the world, if they put money into Afghanistan, create jobs in Afghanistan, create export receipts for Afghanistan, this is the best thing a neighbor can do for ensuring peace and prosperity in the region.
I understand it's a counterbalance because they've had some frustrations in Iran, particularly in the oil sector there. Are they hedging their bets by going to different countries within the broader Middle East and South Asia?
I think it's not really a counterbalance to Iran, but it is part of the Chinese strategy to get access to natural resources as investors. And this money is used to produce commodities, which China can offtake from these investments, or they can sell in the open market. But really, many developing countries like Afghanistan, like Pakistan, and several in Africa and Asia need investment to go into exploitation of natural resources. And this is the best way for any friend of that area to help create jobs, stability, and create economic activity.
Quite interesting. They beat a number of European and U.S. companies trying to go into that particular market. What do you make of the noise we're hearing now from the Vice President of Iran about the Straits of Hormuz, and then the counter-arguments that were made by the U.S. and then France today saying they want to see a free flow of all goods going through the Straits of Hormuz, particularly oil?
Yeah. I think the Straits of Hormuz are really international waters, and they are the energy lifeline of the world. So the world will not accept any part of the Strait of Hormuz being closed. Having said that, I think the situation between Iran and countries outside the Middle East, there is tension there, especially with the West and with Israel, etc. I think this is the time for important diplomacy. Diplomacy by major powers to bring about peace in the region, so that the situation doesn't get to this level.
We have Russia on one side and the U.S.
And I would say
the
important part has to be played by Russia and China, who traditionally have a closer relationship with Iran and not an adversarial relationship. Some European powers can also play a role. And I think we have to bring all major powers together to prevent this situation from worsening. If there is tension in the area, this will be a major catastrophe for the world, and it must be avoided at all costs.
They're very nervous here in the UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, obviously what they're hearing from Iran. $100 oil, but you see some of the governments here trimming back spending, being a little bit more conservative, worried about European debt, worried about security. How do you size it up?
Yeah, I think there is different approaches by different countries. Some countries have increased their budgets to create more jobs for the local people. Some are cutting back on certain projects or delaying them. The key is, I don't think any government in the region will cut projects which affect the local people. They have to create jobs for the local people and are doing so successfully.
Okay. That's a
and
response
this process
to the
will
Arab
continue.
Spring, I take it then.
I think
is a direct response.
I think even before the Arab Spring, the populations in the Gulf area are limited. So it behooves the governments to create projects where the local people are employed, either in the public sector or in the private sector through business opportunity. And I think the rulers of this part of the world have shown that they are very sensitive to taking care of the welfare of their people. And that's what they are continuing to do. I do not see that changing at all.